All right, welcome back to Fright Night Flicks. You're here with Dan and Darren.
What's up, guys?
What is up, everybody? We are deep into the Halloween season, and there's nothing better than to follow up our last podcast with the sequel.
Yep, we're back at Crystal Lake.
Well, yeah, I guess we are at Crystal Lake.
It's Crystal Lake. We're just not at Camp Blood.
Yeah. So this is Friday the 13th, Part 2, made in 1981, the year of the rat.
Is that?
I don't know. So before we get into it, I want to give a shout out to our patrons.
And welcome Brody, who is our newest patron. Thank you, Brody.
And if you guys want to become patrons, you should go ahead and do that. Go to Fright Night Flicks. You'll get special access. Well, special. It is special. Early access to episodes. You're going to get bonus content that we put on there.
Like whole episodes.
Yeah, you can communicate directly to us, which is freaking awesome that we can get direct feedback. And if you wanted to, you could be the special members and actually pick what movie we review.
Yeah, plus, honestly, it supports us. And if you like what we do, we need the support.
You guys were dying here. Dying, man.
Can't die when you've never been alive.
That's a good point. All right, so let's get into it. Here's a little synopsis of what we got going here. 5 years after the events of the first film, a summer camp next to the infamous Camp Crystal Lake is preparing to open, but the legend of Jason is weighing heavy on the proceedings. Dun, dun, dun. No.
Well, here.
Okay, director is Stephen Miner. Writers Tom Kurtz, Victor Miller, Sean Cunningham. I think Victor Miller's the one, he wrote the last one, right? I think he did.
I have no idea.
Yeah, stars Betsy Palmer. Betsy Palmer is the Jason's mom.
Oh, she's a star?
I guess she's a star. She's a dead
Not
head.
really. I mean, well, no, there are little flashbacks.
You're
But that's
right, you're
weird.
right.
She's
Amy
even in this.
Still, John Fury. I don't know a lot of these people, so nothing against you guys. I'm just, it's a little older movie.
Yeah, it's a long time. We weren't alive when this came out.
So, initial impressions. We've returned to Camp Crystal Lake. We really liked the first one. Obviously, everyone did. It was a little twist, but we actually get to see Jason killing now.
Yeah, which is exciting to see him. You see the old man back in action.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Okay, so the first one was kind of like more secluded. Where there was the counselors going to the camp. It was more of like a secluded environment. There weren't a lot of people. I like this one because it's like it's all the counselors getting ready to gear up for the big season. And it's fun. Like, there's a big amount of them. It's almost like a party, right?
That's what I was just going to say. This is more of like a camp party, not so like eerie, quiet. It's more of like it's a festive environment.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Let's go. Let's get ready for camp. Afterwards, we'll have some beers, go have some fun.
Lots of hooking up.
I mean, some people get to, some people don't. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But no, it's a cool atmosphere.
Yeah. I will say, if you played the video game, this is where, like, this movie is made, like, the video game is direct. I mean, there's Camp Packanack or whatever it's called. That's in the game. But it, like, fits so perfectly. The outfits and everything.
Yes. Well, the funniest thing, so we're talking about the Friday the 13th game made by Gunn and Ophonic, I think. But, dude, they did such a good job. It screws me up when I'm watching this movie.
I know.
Because I'm like, dude, this was just like the game. The game was just like the movie. And I just can't stop thinking about it at certain times. So shout out to F-13, the original, because that game, that was so good.
It's iconic. Gone too soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still here, but...
It is, but you can't play it unless you've already had access. And it's so annoying because I went back to try to play. Okay, this is a sidebar. I went back on the PlayStation to play because that's what I had originally bought it on. And it's on there, but you can't download it. You can't even access it.
Oh, that sucks. I'd love to play it again.
Yeah, but, well, it's gone. It's gone. All right, so let's get into, is there anything before we start? That's it, right?
No, let's get into it. That's all.
So the movie starts off, Alice is alive and having a little bit of a nightmare. All this nightmare is, it's a straight flashback to part one.
Dude, it's like a 5-minute recap of the first movie.
It's a heavy recap. Like, it was like, okay, like, I feel like I'm watching the whole first movie again.
For real, I guess it makes sense. You know what? I don't know how long this came out after the first one. They referenced 5 years in the movie. Was it really 5 years in real time?
I don't think so. But I don't know. I'd have to look. It might have been. Who knows?
Because then that would maybe make sense why they did such a flashback. But I've never seen that before. I've never seen such a dump of like, here's what happened the time before.
Yeah, and it's like playing the whole movie. So anyways, whatever. We see Alice alone in her apartment. She starts hearing noises around. We see Jason actually. They show his feet, like he's walking around outside.
Right, he's lurking.
So she goes into her apartment. She's in her apartment. She goes into the kitchen. She's hearing noises, and a demon cat flies through the window.
I'm going to be honest. Scared me.
Yeah, it was.
Scared me.
That was a jump scare. And, well, I'll just give it away. That cat was clearly thrown through the window.
Oh, well, they didn't have animal rules like we have now.
No, I mean, in the first one, they murdered a snake. At least the cat's alive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So cat flies through the window. She goes to feed the cat. This movie starts out quick. Goes to feed the cat, opens the fridge to find Mrs. Viori's head.
Oh, was that her head?
Yes.
So Jason put his mom's head in Alice's fridge?
He takes it around with him.
Oh, you're right. And he had to put it on ice.
Yeah. Well, it was refrigerated, but whatever.
Yeah.
So she sees Mrs. Viori's head. Then Jason grabs Alice from behind and sticks an ice pick into her head.
Yeah, dude, that was shocking.
That's the start of the movie.
Well, I like the way it starts because it's intense because you see Alice from the previous one. She got away. You could tell, though, you know, they tell you she's still haunted by the past of what happened, as anyone would, right?
Yeah.
I think we all would. That was pretty traumatic.
She was like the only survivor. Everybody died.
Everyone. Yeah, and then what do, man? They just kill her right off from the beginning.
That was shocking. Like, yeah, they killed the final girl in the beginning.
Final girl, no more.
No mas. And yeah, so a couple things. We got you get kind of a look of Jason. You don't really see Jason, so we won't get into that. But did you notice, like, I wonder if this is the start of the stove leaving, like, tea on the stove, like a kettle. They have a tea kettle where it's heating up, and it's starting to make the noise, and Jason actually moves it off. But that becomes such a common, hey, here's another word, trope, horror movie trope, where they have a tea kettle, then it's done in, like, you know, Scream, it's a popcorn on it.
Yeah, so you're wondering if this was the start of that?
I mean,
trope?
maybe this was done before in old movies too. Like the tea kettle, like building the suspense with that noise is like something that's commonly done.
No, you're right. It is effective. It just gives you anxiety when you hear it. You're like, can someone just take it off?
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, then we flash to the Friday the 13th part 2, and we have like an explosion in the title screen on this one.
Another great 3D intro.
Yeah, dude, I love these intros. It's like Friday the 13th.
Dude, I legit
part 2.
I honestly do like it. I think it's just because it reminds me of that time when I was a baby.
Yeah, I don't think you're alive yet, bud.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I don't know what to think about where I was.
Yeah, don't think too hard. I was with you wherever you were.
Yeah. I think we were the same thing.
Yeah, whatever that it was. So, okay, so Jesse and Sandra have come into town. So we meet a couple of our characters coming in. They're driving a truck. They park, and old Ted, their buddy, decides to play a prank on him. So as soon as they park, a guy gets in there. Like they run across the street to a telephone booth. A guy tows their truck around the block, which they chase, only to find Ted laughing because it was all a joke.
Yeah, I was just a stupid. Well, we find out Ted's kind of the prankster. He's actually like Ned in the first one.
I think he's
very
worse.
similar. Well, oh my God, no.
I do not. I'm not a fan of the
Here,
Ted.
I'm going to cut up two different. Okay, I'm going to cut up Ned and Ted. You guys tell us in the comments which one's worse.
Is it dead?
Either that or it's got a very short clone. Oh, shit.
Hey, don't get smart.
Me? I'm as dumb as they come.
Hey.
Well, there's no crazy people around here, right?
That stuff, it looks like dead animals.
Dead animals. That's the old counselors.
Welcome to God's country. So the bear wiped his ass with the rabbit.
Hey, come back, come back! Oh.
With Brown, it sits on a piano.
Your face.
Beethoven's last movement.
Ew.
Excuse me, are there any after-hours places around here?
Sure are.
Also, so a couple things. One of those, what was the guy's name? There's one of the characters who has the hat, and he looks like someone who's like from the 50s.
Yeah, that is.
Even the way he runs.
I said Jesse and Sandra. Is his name? I don't know if it's Jeffrey. See, we have a cheat sheet of names.
Which apparently doesn't help. But Jeffrey, yeah, he's got this old time look. It's interesting. That's why I pointed out. And we don't really see too much of these two. But yeah, it is like a newsboy. That's what it's from, like the 50s.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that
Sir,
newsboy
I
is.
have your paper. Well, I think it's literally a kid who brings newspapers
I guess
around.
they wear those little hats, sure. But the thing is, we see Crazy Ralph is back.
Oh, yeah, and he has something to say.
And then I told the others. They didn't believe me. You're all doomed. You're all doomed.
To which Jeffrey and his girl don't respond. They just move on. They didn't say anything.
It's like as if it never happened.
They're like, whoa, that was weird.
Yeah, never talk about it, nothing.
But it's good to see Ralph out there doing the Lord's work.
For now.
I mean, he's out there.
For now. He's there, yeah. Maybe he should heed his own advice. Anyway, so now we arrive at camp and we have our first counselor meeting. Again, I like what they're doing here because they're kind of like grouping everyone together. You get the vibe like it's a big party kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like this community in it where these young kids are ready to start the year. By the way, my issue with this, I had a problem telling who was like older than who. Like, because I think the idea is there was two older counselors and the rest were like younger kids, but they all look the same age to me. And that might be like a me getting older type thing.
Well, there's like Ginny and then there's Paul. Those are like the two running it. And then there's the rest
And
of
Ted.
them.
And I think Ted's one of them too.
Which one's Ted?
He's the one you can't stand.
Oh, Ted's the jokester?
Yeah.
He's running it? Oh, I guess.
Because he's
Well,
like his
no.
right-hand man, I think.
Really?
That's because then they're drinking
Okay,
beers
whatever.
later. They drink beers later, so they're obviously older.
Oh, that is true. Ted, Sandra, and...
Okay.
not Sandra. Yeah, whatever.
Another thing. We're not camp. Like, we never went to camp as kids.
I was a counselor. No big deal.
Recently, later in life, he was a counselor. Won't stop talking about it. But is this a thing where you just have a bunch of like young kids running the camp, like a wild free range camp?
Free range? I think there'd be an older dude in charge.
Like some like older people. Like,
Well, like our age at this point.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Maybe even younger than
not
us.
like a bunch of 20-year-olds running the camp, right? It seems problematic.
I would say like a 30-year-old would be appropriate.
Okay.
Maybe even 28.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Paul might, whatever. Who cares? Let's just get into it. So we see Paul's in charge, and I got to be honest, I love this part for a couple reasons. So he sits, and I'll explain. He sits there, and he gives the intro to the camp, and he starts like picking people off, and his lines are all effed up.
What are you
Like-
talking about? Like where it's clearly just like he's reading off a paper?
Well, like he goes to Scott. He's like, Scott, good to see you, buddy. You need it. And then it's a joke. Everyone laughs. What does that mean?
Well, I think it means like you need the training. You're
You
right, though.
need it.
All these lines, and you guys will hear them.
Yeah.
They're all jacked. It just doesn't flow.
It's great to have you all here at our new counselor training center. You've all worked as counselors at one camp or another. Terry, Vicky, you two were upstate last summer, right? Scott, hi, good to see you here, buddy. You need it. And Mark, I know we worked a season or two together, right?
It doesn't flow at all. It's like, I swear they just cut scenes, like cut parts of these out.
Hey, John, you're here.
You're here. Yeah.
Hey, Betty, you were up last summer. It's like, what?
Dude, then he finishes it off great. The rest of you, I'm sure I'll get to know you soon enough. Which is basically, we will never see you in this movie.
Yeah.
None of you matter. I've introduced everybody you're going to see in the movie. The rest, who gives a shit?
You're gonna leave in a vehicle in the show, and then you can leave the production. You know what's funny about that? Because there are some interesting characters, and I'm like, I even thought about it after I watched the movie. I'm like, what happened to them? They don't even tell you.
No, I think they all leave when they split off. When the group splits to go out for the final night, they take them and they're gone.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Shouldn't they come back to
They're
sleep?
partying.
Yeah, okay.
They're gone. Just don't even worry about it. But there is something very important Paul has to say to the ladies out there, because you need to know this when you're camping.
Among other things, this is bear country. And contrary to what everybody hears, bears are dangerous. If you're a woman, don't use perfume. And keep clean during your menstrual cycle.
We all know bears are attracted to blood.
Yeah, it's a fact, right?
Yeah.
They will eat you.
I gotta say, I actually liked his delivery of that line because it looked like he delivered like he was embarrassed about even saying it. He's like, kind of mumbled it through it.
I thought it was disgusting because it wasn't like, you could have said it in a funny way or something, but he's like, keep clean. So it's like, what do you expect? Like these girls are walking around with like blood dripping around.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying. I think this is an attempt at humor. I think that's right.
I don't know.
But see, I mean, okay, so we can move on past that. The overall vibe though is fun. Is
it even real? Is that here? I don't think the menstruation in bears is a thing, but I've always wondered with sharks.
Oh, well, sharks are attracted to blood, legit, right?
If there's blood, no, I feel like they can.
We gotta get off this topic. I'm not putting that in. So the overall vibe right now is a fun time, young counselors. Plus, dude, this lodge they're at is pretty sick. Packanack, dude, it's a cool looking lodge, a large area. I guess it's like a common area where there's some people that sleep upstairs.
Right.
Yeah.
You know from the game.
I literally am going off the memory of the game.
If you don't already, there's plenty of ways to jump out windows up there. So Ginny arrives at this time and she's late to the party. Her car, you can hear it coming in because it's got some issues going on. And we see that Ginny and Paul have a little something going on, right?
Yeah, they're kind of leading you. Well, they're letting you know that. And it's also, you're getting the vibe for Jenny. I was kind of having a hard time grasping like who Jenny is in the beginning, but she's like kind of like this carefree, kind of cool chick.
Yeah, I think she's kind of more lighthearted, but also not totally responsible.
I'd say she's pretty irresponsible because she's late, first of all.
Hi! I'm late.
Well, what is this crap, Ginny? You're supposed to be my assistant. Everyone else got here hours ago.
I said I was sorry.
You did?
But my car's sick.
Well, you could have called.
Paul, I tried, but your phones aren't even working yet.
And by the way, they like really hammer home the car trouble, which I'm sure will never come back, right?
I think she said her car's sick.
She did say her car is sick, so I'm sure that'll never come back in this movie.
No. There's no reason to reference that.
So we transition tonight. We're around the campfire.
Oh.
Paul's telling the story of Jason. So he basically just giving him a rundown of what really happened.
I like this part too because it's like it's giving you the lore and he's letting everyone know like this is like honestly it's all real. Everything he said was real. It wasn't fake at all.
But I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason. His body was never recovered from the lake after he drowned. And if you listen to the old timers in town, they'll tell you he's still out there. Some sort of demented creature. The girl who survived that night at Camp Blood, that Friday the 13th, she disappeared 2 months later. Legend has it that Jason saw his mother beheaded that night, and that he took his revenge. A revenge that he'll continue to seek if anyone ever enters his wilderness again. And by now, I guess you all know, we're the first to return here. 5 years. 5 long years he's been dormant.
Then the scene culminates with our old buddy Ted jumping out from behind everybody, wearing a mask and holding a spear.
Young blood.
Hey, come back! Oh,
Which will come back into play.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, you know what I liked? Well, the mask is interesting too. They focus on this mask several times, almost like baiting you to think Jason's going to use it, which he doesn't, but it's kind of funny. But yeah, I kind of like that scene. I don't know. It's a camp trope.
He loves to do every time we say trope. Do you know the funny thing? And we didn't mention it yet, but Jason's not in his mask, and we talked about it in the last podcast. But it's so surprising that like he's not in the signature hockey mask.
And I've known this because I'm a fan of the movies. I know it doesn't come until later, but it does surprise you when you see him later. And spoiler alert, he's got a bag on his head. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. He didn't even have the mask originally. Again, it's so funny. This movie was built off. It's like when you think of Friday the 13th, you think of the hockey mask. That doesn't even come in until I think the third movie.
And do you think of Jason, who wasn't even supposed to be a main character?
It's a really interesting start.
Yeah.
One other thing too that I like about the campfire is it's relatable. It's like we've all been there around a campfire telling scary stories. It's just setting you up in the mood.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
great.
So they move from the campfire to a party at the lodge now. So again, I just love everything about this because you not only see like all these different counselors, they all have different personalities and they're all doing different stuff. So you got like a guy dancing with a dog, like flirting with that Terry girl, guy hosting. He's got like an arm wrestling tournament going on.
Well, he's in a wheelchair.
I mean, let's be real. The wheelchair guys, they got the arm wrestling down.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got the upper body strength for sure.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, most wheelchair guys can arm wrestle.
I'm not going to say that. Okay.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's a good thing. It's like, I wouldn't want to arm wrestle him. Anyways, there's a couple dancing. We got a chess match going on. I'm just saying that it's like the place is filled with activities.
Okay. You know what I'm going to say? Well, first of all, I like seeing what people used to do back in the day. Because if this was remade, It would
We'd
be
all
totally different.
There'd be a movie on, and 8 people would be on their phones.
Or no, but dude, here's what I'm saying. You could totally remake this or make a new I don't like remakes, a new version of this whole thing.
Dude, there's like 20 of these movies. They probably did already.
Yeah, you know what? We'll check them out because that would be fun though. Nowadays, like you could have them playing the Friday the 13th video game.
That would be pretty.
That would
cool.
be pretty sick.
Yeah,
Right,
except
anyways.
again, you can't play it anymore.
You just put a video of it, okay?
Or playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That would be kind of funny in a Friday the 13th movie.
Because a chainsaw does come into this movie
It
too.
does, surprisingly. Okay, so Ginny and Paul, they start making out. So Paul's the guy who runs the camp. Ginny's the little lighthearted one. They start making out the room, and we see Ralph is creeping outside watching. Weird move by Ralph, but, you know.
Which one was Ralph?
Ralph is the town crazy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so Jason finds Ralph, though, and wraps a wire around his neck, strangles him to death.
Yeah, rip, man. One of the last survivor from the original movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, aside from like the secondary,
yeah, like
characters.
townsfolk,
yeah,
and
we don't
stuff.
care about them.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, I liked Ralph. I liked his craziness. Although
The problem is he enjoyed watching the two kissing, and that got him killed.
Well, I mean, Ralph's a creeper. Like the first one, he was hiding in a pantry.
That was weird.
He will find himself back in a closet, I think, later on. But that's.
I like to think Jason took him home.
Yeah. So we go to the next day. Jeff and Sandra.
Wait, so just to clear that up, Ralph is dead. Nothing else happened.
Yeah.
And now it's the next day.
Yeah, now we move on. Jeff and Sandra, they're on this big thing. Jeff's again the newsboy. I keep calling him Jeff. It's Jeffrey, right? Yeah. I called him something else earlier. Anyways, they decide they're going to sneak off to Camp Blood. They go on their way. The whole time you're thinking they're going to get murdered. They end up finding a dog who Terry has this like Lopso dog, you know?
Yeah. So Terry, one of the counselors, currently has a dog that's running around, this little white furry dog.
Right.
So yeah,
at one point you see Jason take it.
Yeah, Jason did have an interaction, but we don't know what happened to the dog, which is the whole thing. I don't know why the dog became a point that they wanted to film.
Because it's weirder. So they find this dog, and it's clearly that dog that's been like gutted or something.
It's not clearly though; it's hard to tell.
But it looks very much like that.
They made
dog.
it look just like that dog. Yes,
it's not the dog though. It's
we'll
another
find
dog.
out later. It was a red herring. No, a false flag. I don't know what they call it. It wasn't the real dog.
Which is it's like how many of those dogs could be roaming around? Like that is not a woods dog.
I found that
dog
weird,
would be
but...
killed instantly out there. Anyway, well, I guess it was, so whatever.
Well,
Anyways,
no, it wasn't. That wasn't the dog.
I know what I'm saying. Whatever that dog.
You just caught up too much on the dang dog.
So the local sheriff arrives. He takes the kids back to camp, reprimands Paul for letting the kids go there, to which Paul really doesn't care. Like he kind of blows off the sheriff. It's like, whatever, like, which, you know, the sheriff's trying to warn him, but they don't really believe this whole Jason thing.
Yeah, what we see is the sheriff apparently just patrolling the woods for anyone who's around that camp. And so the kids got in trouble for you're not supposed to be there, apparently. Another thing, and the main point of bringing him there is to see that dog. And then, I don't know, the whole thing was weird. I'm not really sure what that point of that was.
Yeah, maybe it was meant to be something else. I don't know. The funny thing about all of it, it's like this stuff happened. Like they all know this is real. A bunch of people did get murdered, and like that girl did go missing, but they don't seem to care.
Well, it's been 5 years. So I mean, honestly, in their mind, it's a lore. It's not even real, but it was real.
Okay.
But it very much was real.
Yeah, I mean, that happened.
Well, and the killer did get killed. Like, you know, Miss V got a, head off.
Yeah, I guess you would think that. So as the cop leaves, we see Jason sprint across the road, which I did like because he was like super fast.
Yeah, so I'll say this about the Jason. From my memory of Jason, he's more slow and methodical. This movie, he's more of a sprinter and a fighter, a young Jason.
Yes, a young spry Jason.
Yeah.
So this part just made me laugh. This cop chases him through the woods, and the way I don't know if you noticed, the way he chases him is just really funny. For one, like he'll like sprint and then he'll stop. And he does these like stop, and then he'll like fix his hair and then run and then sprint and then he'll like look and then run. But it's like It's like he looks, but he's not really looking. He's just like stopping.
I also noticed it was weird. It was odd.
Yeah,
he's like hopping through the woods.
Yeah, it was just like, I don't know what you're doing, but
he's acting his heart out,
dude,
bro.
that's what it was. This is like, I'm gonna make this run as big. What?
I'm wrong. Ralph wasn't the last one from the previous movie because the cop was in the previous one too, right?
Not this cop though.
Oh, was it a different one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm pretty sure. So, anyways, the cop eventually makes his way to what is, I guess, Jason's new home.
Yeah, his little shack.
Yeah, and I guess we're saying he built that. I mean, I think they try to make it look like it's thrown together, which is funny because it actually has a toilet and a window.
I mean, maybe that's where he lived the whole time with his mom. Because, you know, that's the whole story is him and his mom lived together. We don't really know where they lived in the woods.
They lived together?
Well, I mean, they grew up together. Like, she raised him.
They
But
think they
where?
lived in that little cabin?
I don't know where they lived.
No.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right, though. Probably the house because Miss V did look like she was put together. So,
although she worked at the camp, so I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, it's a shithole. Let's be real. It's like metal siding, 2x4s are like falling apart, whatever.
It's where you'd expect Jason to live.
Yeah, the cop goes in the back room, and whatever he sees shocks him. But just then, Jason comes behind him, hits him in the back of the head with a claw hammer.
Yeah, so they're letting us know something weird's in there.
Yeah, something very strange, and we'll get to it. So back at Packanack Lodge, Paul's going out for one last night. So this is clearly the scene where we got to split this group up. There's way too many kids. So Paul's going to take a bunch of the kids. They're all going to go out and party. The other kids are going to stay back and just chill.
You know, before that, too, I thought was funny. They had all the counselors training, like running miles.
Yeah, and Mark is saying how he's training.
Mark's the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah, he keeps saying how he's training. I'm like, what are you training? I don't know what you're training for.
Okay, I was saving this. So Mark said there's a girl that's interested in Mark.
Yes,
and
we'll get to there, Vicky.
Yeah, and at one point she says like she's smoking dope. What'd she use? She used the word for it.
Toke?
Want a toke. She said, want a toke? And he said, no, I'm training. And she goes, for what? And I love that moment because it's like, oh yeah, I'm paralyzed. I'm not training for anything.
I'm in training, remember?
For what?
So yeah, the writers didn't put this one in the script.
It's like he didn't realize he's really not training for anything anymore.
Yeah, was that supposed to be like a moment of realization? Like, because he's wearing a football jersey. So did he think he was going to go play?
I don't know.
Maybe he did. Maybe he thinks, maybe that's what it's supposed to be, that because he doesn't believe he's going to be paralyzed.
Yeah.
So now it sounds sad.
Yeah, now it's not funny anymore. But I did notice the same thing. I thought it was funny.
Okay, and I just want to say this. Hot take. The real killer in this movie isn't Jason. It's STDs. Because there is no protection being used in this camp.
Well, we don't know that.
We know that. And there's a lot of hooking up that's going to happen.
I mean, dude, yeah, these kids are wild.
Hot take. I'm just saying.
All right.
So we go to the lodge. We got Mark and Vicky. Now, Mark's, again, the wheelchair guy. Vicky's girl wants him. Sandra and Jeff. Jeff's the newsboy guy. And those two have been on each other for the whole time.
Right.
So,
well, yeah, let's be clear. So, like, half the people left, and really just a handful of people stayed.
yeah. Yep. So Mark's doing his thing. So he's back in his arm wrestling tournament, you know. So, anyways, long story. Jeff and Sandra, they go upstairs to wrestle
Horizontally.
Horizontal wrestling. Well, I mean, that is wrestling.
Well, no, sometimes you stand up.
So this is where we see, I love this interaction with Vicky and Mark. So Vicky wants Mark badly, okay?
Dude, Vicky's like going after him hard.
And dude, some of her lines are just great. Okay, so after Sandra and Jeff leave, Vicky comes up to Mark and is like, hey, do you want to arm wrestle me? Or you want to take me on? She uses words like this. You want to take me on?
Right.
And then of course Mark's like, okay, whatever. And she goes, oh no, I only want your fingers.
I only want your fingers.
What?
bold line, right?
Yeah, Vicky's bricked up, one might say.
So, but she pulls out these handheld games and she like, as a joke, like, no, I mean, let's play this, you know?
Which is funny because it's like, dude, that's what video games used to be like.
I know. So she says, take your pick. It's football or hockey. All right. So these games are football and hockey. Now here's where Vicky, I think, missed her best line because Mark says, which one do you prefer? And she goes, the one with the puck, as if it's like sexy, but she should have said the one with the stick. Am I right?
I mean, I don't know. The one with the stick. I mean, that would have been a better line.
Come
yeah,
on, that would have been a
puck
banger
sounds like
line.
another word, so maybe that's what she's going for.
I think it'd be better if she said, "I want a puck."
Yeah,
That would be also a good one. But she drops a banger after this. She goes, so Steve says, "What do you want to play for?" And she says,
"What do you want to play for?"
Position.
at this point, none of the counselors know anyone's dead yet. It's all fun and games.
Yeah, we're having a good time.
Fun, games, hookups.
Yeah, and get naked because Ginny just goes solo skinny dipping. Always, I think, a kind of a weird move, but whatever.
Yeah, so now, well, here, let's go. So now we're at Jenny, who's down by herself at the shoreline swimming.
Yeah, well, naked.
Well, yeah, she's naked.
And she's like the fitness girl of this one. I mean,
Dude, she's jacked.
she actually is like super jacked.
It's like too jacked.
Like this, she's a little skinny for my taste, but she looks great. Like there's a shot of her that just,
I mean,
come on.
you guys see it.
Yeah. So Scott is down there. I mean, Scott wants Jen, and he's doing like the classic little kid flirting stuff where he's just annoying her. Like he hit her with a slingshot earlier. Now he takes her clothes. She comes out.
They've been kind of having a little back and forth.
Yeah.
Scott's kind of a weird dude too.
I think Scott's weird, and I don't even know if she's into it. In fact, I got vibes. Jenny might not be into dudes.
Well, I could see why you'd say that, but I think she is into it because when he slingshot is through the rock in her butt,
she did smile, but she doesn't seem to be really that interested.
Don't you know how to play hard to get? It's hard to get, bro.
Whatever. So, anyways, Scott ends up so Jenny gets out, chases Scott. He steps in a trap, like literally just stands both feet in this tiny space and gets hung upside down. All right. He thinks it's another friend's trap, though, like his buddy set it up. So Ginny's like, okay, I'll go get a knife and cut you down. She leaves him. Jason just strolls by, finds him, little machete across the neck, done.
Yeah. So for audio listeners, he's literally just hanging there in the air. And the funny thing of that kill,
I like how you said for audio listeners that you used your hands like you're describing.
Yeah, well,
it.
that's for the video. I'm doing both at the same time.
Oh, well done.
But yeah, the kill wasn't honestly not a great kill. He kind of just pressed the knife to him. It didn't look like there was any force at all to it.
Like I feel like he kind of nonchalantly just walked by with his machete and just like give him a little swipe and left.
Yeah, it's like he just brushed up against the neck.
But that's kind of like how his mom did her killing.
Yeah, it's the power. They're powerful, and imagine the knife sharp. So whatever, we'll go with it.
You imagine a knife sharp.
Imagine his knife is sharp.
All right. So at this point, a storm has hit. We got rain, we got thunder, we got lightning.
As per usual, yeah.
Yeah. So as you know, usually once the kills start, the storm hits. So Vicky takes off. So Vicky again was with Mark back at the lodge. She takes off. So people are starting to split off, and you know what happens then.
Wait, Vicky, so Mark and the wheelchair guy, right?
I mean, I don't like to label him as that.
Well,
but
I mean, it's easy to remember. He's the guy in the wheelchair.
I think he has him as a person named Mark.
Who just happens to be in a wheelchair.
Who happens to be in a wheelchair.
Okay. So the thing about them, though, is they're going to hook up, which it always hurts me when this happens.
Dude, especially like Vicky seemed like a little vixen.
She's ready to go. I mean, throw the guy a bone. He's had a rough go.
We don't know if his thing works though.
He said it does.
Well, he said he
does.
He gets by, which made me think he just does things.
Just your legs, huh? Is everything else okay?
Oh, I do all right, one way or another.
No, I think it works. I like to think it works.
I think he does things.
Stupid.
So, anyways, Vicky takes off. She goes back to her spot.
Well, she's getting ready. She's got her special underwear out. You know, what I'm saying?
She like perfumes everything, which we appreciate.
Whatever, yeah,
sure. So Mark's on the porch, poor bastard. And dude, this guy he just catches a machete right across his face,
bro.
And then his chair is somehow sent down this giant flight of stairs that you've never seen before or since.
They did this dude. Well, they did see it before because the counselors were running up at one point.
Oh, are they? Okay.
But it doesn't matter because they did this poor dude dirty, man. Because that machete just boom stuck right in his head, and they just throw him off stairs. Why?
They're like, he's in a wheelchair. We have to kill him in a special way.
I mean, dude, that's some force. And then the best part, it's not like the wheelchair fell over. He just go riding down the dang thing.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a clay face though, because like it does stick in his head.
Oh,
it's like it's. I don't even know if you see Jason. It's just like the machete sticking in his head, just like schlack.
It's like thump.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good though. It was shocking.
Yeah, it was something. So at this point, Jeff and Sandra, again, those two went upstairs and hooked up. And they
got to finish. Jason let them at least have theirs.
Yeah, let them do what they got to do. Then he walks in the room. So I think the dude is on top of the girl. So the girl actually kind of like this because Sandra like sees him and starts to like scream just as Jason grabs a spear. Double kill Colette.
Okay, let's be clear on what happened. They're laying. So first of all, they finished. This is the most unrealistic part. They finished doing their stuff, and he's laying on top of her.
I wanted to talk about this. Yes. Who in the world lays on top as like the cuddle position?
Well, first of all, when you're done, I'm gonna be honest. As a guy, I don't really want to cuddle.
I don't even want to see you. Just get out of my face. Don't talk to me.
but this is young love here. So he lays on top of her. So yeah, they're sandwiched together. She's on the bottom. He's on top. That on its own, not realistic, but okay. But this is my favorite kill though. Because then Jason comes up with that spear, and they don't show it all. But dude, he clearly went through the guy's back into the girl, through the bed to the ground,
to the floor. So there's a lot of power.
It was great,
double
great
kill.
Yeah. One last thing, that is what I do love about these movies, is like you don't have to see what happened. You just need to. They show us parts and let your imagination wander wildly. Let your imagination do the rest.
Yeah, that is true. Vicky makes it back to the lodge looking for her young lover, Mark, who is gone again. He went on like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. That guy's gone.
Yeah, he's not around. They made me laugh. She goes up the stairs and I'm like, he's not going to be up there.
Yeah, that's a good point. If there's one place Mark isn't going to be, then be up those goddamn stairs.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So she goes up into the Sandra and Jeff's room. She can see some bodies. So she's going to like lift the sheet. Before she does, we have Jason jump up.
Sandra.
From under the bed, and you see him now.
Well, not under the bed. He was laying in the sheets. How long was Jason waiting there?
Yeah.
He was just hiding in the bed till someone came.
I kind of like the move, though.
Oh, no, this is another awesome, well, the kill wasn't so good, but the hiding was cool. It shocked me because I'm like, in no way would I think this boy, monster child, would hide in the bed.
Well, he's not. He's like a grown man.
I don't know what he is.
Yeah, and he pops up and he's wearing a pillowcase, or it looks like a feed bag or something.
I thought it was a feed bag, but I don't know.
Let's go with feed bag. It looks more textured.
Well, and this part was great because Vicky decides, hey, I'm done trying.
Well, so he slashes her leg. She falls back against the wall, and you're right. She literally doesn't move from that position.
It's the thing where the knife. Well, first of all, there are a couple things.
Well, I thought, is this a throwback to Halloween? Like a little nod? Because he pulls out the giant knife like Halloween and he holds it up like Myers does, you know?
Oh, it very well could be. You know what distracted me though? So two things with the scene. One, Vicky doesn't move, which is an odd move. If you're a victim, someone's coming at you with a knife. If you want to survive, just move. Try something. The second thing, why did he have like a giant bruise on his thumb? His thumbnail. I couldn't stop looking at it.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Oh, it's huge.
Maybe we think it's a real.
I don't know why they'd even have that.
Well, he probably like hurt his hand in filming or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I didn't even see that.
Slap his thumb in a door or something.
Yeah. Well, the more you know. So back in town, we have Paul, Ted, and Ginny.
Well, he killed her.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. He basically puts that knife into her as slow as possible.
Yeah.
So right now, back at the lodge, we have those two couples are dead. So the Mark and Vicky or whatever, and then the two that went upstairs, Sandra and Newsboy, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Then we have Scott and Ginny. Scott's dead. He got hung upside down. Now, I didn't mention, but Ginny comes back and finds him after she gets her knife or whatever. And she just like finds him, screams, and she's dead. She gets killed. But they don't
show it. It's implied.
Yeah. And her body will show up later. So back in town at the bar, we have Paul, Ted, and Ginny. So again, Ted and Ginny are Paul and Ginny are the two like that are kind of in a relationship. Ted's like the goofball.
Right.
So they're doing big picture thinking, and Ginny basically explains like the logic behind Jason and kind of like nails the whole thing.
Well, you're seeing she kind of understands what's going on somehow.
Like to a deep level.
Yeah, she's figured out like if Jason was real, then he might still be around.
Although I don't know about one of her lines because she says,
What if they're
or is it Jason?
Oh, bullshit. Ginny?
No, what if there is some kind of boy or beast running around Camp Crystal Lake? I mean, let's try to think beyond the legend, put it in real terms. I mean, what would it be like today? Some kind of out-of-control psychopath? A frightened
I don't even know what to say to that.
That's what she said. Like, everything else was like, it was dialed, and I'm like, whoa.
Then she went off the deep end with it.
Did you need to say that?
Yeah, but again, they're just showing you, because it's going to come into play. She's got this all figured out.
Is that going to come into play?
Absolutely.
All right, well,
because she talks about the mom, his relationship with his mom.
And you know, the only person I'd ever known was his mother. I mean, she was everything to him.
Yeah. Deranged killer.
No. You're missing my whole point. I mean, I doubt Jason would have even known the meaning of death. Or at least until that horrible night. He must have seen the whole thing happen. He must have seen his mother get killed. And all just because she loved him. And he must be out there right now crying for a return. For resurrection.
And she's kind of understanding the dynamic there.
Yes, that makes sense. I got you.
Yeah, they're a little foreshadowing.
Yeah. So Paul and Ginny head back to camp, and you know what? The other guy stays there. Does he ever come back? Ted?
Oh, shoot.
Because remember, he's like going around to people asking, like,
yeah, where's the after hours place?
Yeah.
I don't know that Ted ever came back.
I don't remember him dying.
Neither do I.
Huh.
I don't think so.
I guess he's with the other kids, just gone.
Maybe he's in part 3.
Yeah. So Ginny and Paul arrive back at the lodge. It's pitch black. Something's wrong. They go upstairs. They find the blood-filled bed where Jeff and Sandra were. Then, again, here's more Paul weird lines where Ginny says, Paul, what's going on here? And then Paul goes, nothing.
Paul, what's going on here?
Nothing.
But he says it in a way as if, like, he's a part of it. Like, it's not like... For one, you wouldn't say nothing because you just found a blood-filled bed.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be. I know they were trying to sell it that like he thought maybe it was a prank. Because it's a bunch of young kids. You could see he did the prank on the kids during the story, the campfire story. So maybe they're pranking him. I could see that being in like a possibility.
I could.
So maybe, but that line is weird.
You had to hear. It's weird.
Well, Paul's acting's a little shaky.
Yeah. So as they're in the cabin, Paul finds like the fuse box and starts working on it. And then Ginny has to again, this is more crazy lines. Ginny says, Paul, there's someone in the room. But she says it like that. She goes,
Paul, there's someone in this room.
Then all of a sudden she goes, like, sees Jason like stand up. And then she goes, Paul, there's someone in the room.
Dude, I actually thought that part was really creepy.
Paul, there's someone in this room!
Well, I like that yell, but the first one was like, Paul, there's someone in the room. It's like, are you going to say that a little louder? Like,
she must have said it low because I never even noticed the first one.
you gotta listen to it. It's just like...
Yet again, though, this Jason is fun. He's like hiding. He's playing a little game with the guys.
Yeah, I like a little coy Jason.
I do too. But then it kind of loses me because then it becomes a struggle between Paul and Jason.
Yeah, I don't like when you can fight him too much.
No, it's a lot of that like wrestling, but moving your feet really fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it looks to me like Jason's weak, and I don't like to feel that from a killer.
No. So they fight. Paul's not really winning. It looks like Jason's got the upper hand, but it's really dark, hard to tell.
Well, the good thing is Jenny helps him and saves her, her friend here, or boyfriend. No, that's right. She didn't. She just stood there and did nothing.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, what are you talking about? Did she do something?
No, the whole time they're wrestling, Jason's on top. She does nothing. She's just, Paul, are you okay? Paul?
Yeah, then Jason rises up, and we assume Paul's dead.
They didn't really show. So
we assume.
You can't assume anything in these movies.
No. So Ginny runs to the bathroom, goes in, tries to lock herself in, holds the door. And then I did like this part too, because she's got the window right there. And she's like holding the door, but then like inching towards the window because she wants to open the window and go out. Well, as soon as she lets go of the doorknob, you're kind of like, crap, is he going to come through the door? Right when she gets to the window, boom, explosion.
Fake out.
He's not at the door.
Dude, no,
guys, he was at the window.
That was really good. Again, it shocked me. This movie was good in the way that there's several parts that actually startled me.
I believe you'd say some misdirections.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so Ginny makes it to the kitchen, grabs a knife. She starts like staring at the door handle, like fixated on it. She's ready, I guess, for a final stand. Jason explodes through this door now with a pitchfork. By the way, he's like cycling through weapons.
Yeah, where did he get the pitchfork?
I don't know. Like,
I don't even care. You know what? I don't care. It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. Then she sees our boy Ralph. He's hanging out in the pantry.
Oh yeah, and I like this because it's a typical Friday the 13th thing where it's like now all of a sudden all the bodies are coming out.
They're just exploding out of spots. Yeah, that's the thing Jason's mom did as well as Jason does. They don't leave the bodies where they kill them. They like to make a spectacle.
Well, you got to decorate. You got to scare the people.
Yeah, and with it being Halloween season, I respect that.
I love it.
Yeah. So she ends up jumping out of the window, runs to the car, which we know is not going to be a problem.
Hey, right? Surprise, guys. Car's not going to start.
Yeah, come on.
They never start.
No.
If someone's chasing you, don't ever run to a car.
Yeah. She gets inside. Jason puts the pitchfork through the roof. So Ginny escapes. She ends up hiding in a bush. Jason comes by. She bursts out, kicks him in the nuts. Lots of chasing going on here.
I did like how she actually tried to hide out in the woods, though, because in the previous movie, the girl kept going from cabin to cabin. Now it's like, yeah, get out in the woods. It's harder to find you out there. It's dark.
And I do like that. I mean, it wasn't a great hiding spot, but she was there to battle anyways.
Yeah. I
give a little nut shot. So she ends up making to another car, but Jason's already there. And I kind of like this part because she kind of crawled around the car as he ran by.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, I like that. So he didn't see her. So he kind of loses her and runs off. This chasing goes on forever. Like at this point, like he ends up, I guess he found her again. I forget how it wrote.
I don't remember.
He finds her, but it's like they show the moon, then they're back to the chase, then the moon, then the chase, then the moon. It like keeps going. Like
yeah, it's a big
ending.
chase.
Yeah, it's a big one. So finally, we see Jason arrives at the cabin and he's looking around, and we see Ginny underneath the bed. All right. So this is weird. She's hiding under the bed, and I mean, you're totally waiting for the stab through the bed, like. Because if you played the game,
oh yeah, for sure,
that's how you kill people that hide under the bed.
No, but you're right, and he's got the pitchfork, so you're thinking that's probably going to happen.
Yeah, so she's under there, another misdirect. But as soon as he's about to leave, there's like a rat under there as well, and Ginny pisses herself.
It's so funny. I thought the rat peed.
It was a lot of urine. I'm pretty sure she peed.
I didn't know if it was zoomed in though.
Kind of a weird move.
Okay, I'll replay. I'm not sure who peed in this one.
Why would the rat go pee? And that's a lot of pee.
Why is she just peeing? I guess she's scared.
Terrified for her life.
I mean, yeah, but all right, well, whatever.
Okay, anyways, Jason sees this. Well, she doesn't know that, but she goes to crawl out. Again, this is another Jason move where he's standing on a chair, making her think that he's out of the room.
So this part did make me laugh. She comes out from under the bed, and then he goes to swing, but he falls off the chair that he's standing on.
Yeah, because she thought he was hiding.
I'm like, this dude was hiding on a chair.
Yeah,
I just didn't expect it. It was great, no. But obviously, bad tactic. He missed.
He misses. Ginny goes and grabs a chainsaw, starts it, and then it's a bold move. I mean, that's started that quick. Whatever. And then goes and hits his arm or something. Like it sparks. I don't know if she's supposed to have hit a weapon.
I think he kind of falls though, right?
He falls down and it immediately shuts off.
See, but again, this is my problem. Well, first of all, if anyone ever wondered who would win in a fight, Bubba from Texas Chainsaw or Jason. I mean,
it's Jason.
No, it's Bubba.
No, because Jason's like.
Did you see how scared this dude was of that chainsaw?
Yeah, I've already done this in my. It's Jason because Jason's like supernatural.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah,
but I didn't like how Jason was scared in this one.
No, he did that part. He looked weak.
But it's a young Jason. He hasn't got all his powers yet.
Yeah, he'll get there.
Yeah.
So Ginny runs over to Jason's shack, hides in the back room, where she finds the shrine to Mama V.
Yeah. So Jason's in his little shack. He's got Mrs. V's head, his mom, on like a platter.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of the table with candles lit all around. So it's like that creepy Halloween-y environment.
And her sweater.
Yep.
Yep. So Ginny does the best RP of her life. And she puts on the sweater, fixes her hair, and she's going to play some Mama V.
So again, like I said, when she was at the bar, she was talking about this relationship Jason has with his mom. Like, you know, she's the only person he knew and all this stuff. So it's letting you know she's got this figured out, I guess. And so, yeah, so she decides to get Jason to stop chasing her. She's got to pretend to be his mom. And that way she'll just tell him to do whatever she wants.
I got to be honest. I would love it if Jason walked in and she's doing this role play and he just cut her head off.
It would be great because like, no way would this ever work.
Like, what the F were you thinking? Like, you put on this dead lady's clothes.
Oh, dude, how great would that ending be if he just like chopped her head off and then just like look around like confused? That would have been way good.
I know. Alternate ending. Let us know if you like that. So she puts on all her stuff, makes her look like the mom, and starts talking to him like his mom.
Jason! It's all done, Jason. You've done your job well, and Mommy is pleased.
And he kind of buys it. Like there's some points where he's like, I don't know, but then he goes back in his head and he's like, he's believing it's his mom.
Well, yeah, they're doing that transition thing where the girl actually looks like, in Jason's mind, looks like the mom, and you know, doing that transition.
There's lots of crossfading going on.
There's tons of crossfading. Yeah.
So Ginny goes to stab Jason, but he sees Mama in the background. So when she went to stab, he sees the head behind her.
That was her biggest mistake. It totally threw him out of this fantasy.
Yep. So he does the parry, the little ting, and ends up stabbing Ginny in the leg with a pickaxe. So again, we've cycled through another weapon. We have a pickaxe now. I forgot.
Oh yeah,
we got a pickaxe somewhere.
I don't know where he got it from, but that's cool.
We've seen multiple weapons. I love it. At this point, we see Paul arrives. He's not dead.
Ginny!
Nope.
And he starts wrestling with Jason again.
Yep.
Ginny then hits Jason the machete with a neck.
With a neck?
Ginny hits him with a machete in the neck. Which you would, like, in my mind, I was like, oh, it's going to be the cutoff, like the first one. But it's not. It's more of like a whack, and you don't really know what happened.
It's kind of hard to see, to be honest. I wasn't sure. Did it stick in his neck? I don't know.
It looked like he bled. I don't think it stuck. It just hit him, and then he goes down. At that point, they unmask him.
Oh, I don't remember, but we don't see his face, right?
Not yet. I don't remember if you see it there. Maybe they pull it off and look. I kind of forget.
Yeah.
I wrote that down. I don't really remember.
I don't either.
So, but I know his face does come into play later. But they make it back to the cabin in safety. Like everything's good.
Yeah. So at that point, Jason's down. We think it's all over.
Yeah, but then we hear something at the door.
Oh.
They're ready for the final showdown.
Yeah.
They get ready. They open the door. It's Muffin.
It's the freaking dog. It was so weird.
So it's the dog earlier that we thought was mutilated, which 100% was a dog that looked just like that one that was mutilated.
But it wasn't this dog.
It wasn't Muffin.
So Muffin's alive just to play this pivotal role.
Yeah, it's like a lighthearted comedic moment, you know?
Yeah.
But then... Jason arrives and jumps through the window. That's another one of his big moves. Like he did, it's the same type of a jump he did from the water in the first one. This time he jumps to the window and you see his face for the first time, and it looks slothish.
Well, yeah. So,
no disrespect to sloth, we love sloth.
No, sloth, one of our favorites
from Goonies, if you don't know.
It is slosh. It is sloth-ish in that same vein. It's clearly there's problems going on with the face. We didn't mention that Jenny was like backed up against the window, so there's a lot of suspense that was building when Muffin was at the door.
Yeah,
that's where it all built into. But my favorite, I like how first of all, it did shock me, but then there's like a scene. He jumps through the window, but then all of a sudden he's like next to her. Did you notice that?
No.
Oh, it was just this weird transition. I'm like, how did he get there? Didn't make sense. I don't know.
Yeah, but then it just cuts to Ginny being loaded into an ambulance, and that's the end.
Yeah, it's just like they did with the first one where like Jason pulls Alice down. In this one, he jumps at her and then it's like, we don't know what happened. And she's asking about Paul, but no one's answering what happened to him.
Correct.
So we don't know what happened to Jason, what happened to Paul. Was that real? I think so, but I don't know.
Into the movie. So what do you feel about this movie?
Oh, I don't know. It was really good. It was great. I enjoyed it. I like F-13s. I like the vibe of it. I like the counselors in the woods. I thought there's a lot of good scares in this. There's a lot of good kills in this as well. I mean, it's a must watch, just like the original.
Is it better than the first one?
Ooh, I don't know, man. It's hard to separate nostalgia from the first one. You know what I'm saying? This was the original. I think I enjoyed this one better, though.
Yeah, I would say this is better than the first. I didn't love Jason's mom being the killer. Kind of, I don't think she could do many of those kills.
I felt like this one was more fun.
I think the counselors were more fun. It wasn't as dark of a movie. Like the first one was like really dark. Like, and it wasn't as, the camp vibe wasn't as fun at all.
The first one was like dark and quiet and alone. You felt that. This one was more fun, party, lots of people around, lots of kills.
Yeah, lots of kills, great kills, lots of hooking up. I mean, they really made you, I mean, I don't know. You get the classic, like, you hook up, you die.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I thought it was really good too.
Also, I'll say, like, the characters, they did a good job. I mean, you didn't have a lot of development, but I did, like, have these connections to some of the characters.
Well, and they're all very different. Like, there was different stereotypes, which I like. Like, there was, like, the jockish people. There was, like, there wasn't really too many nerds. There's really a lot of horny people. Okay, so what do you think is the best kill?
My favorite kill has got to be the spear through the two people.
The collateral.
Yeah, that spear going through those two was shocking, and I didn't expect it, and I thought it was a cool way to do it.
And with Vicky, like, staring there, watching it happen when she can do nothing.
Yeah, that guy's just laying on her.
Yeah, I think my favorite's got to be Alice, being that she was the only survivor, well, from the camp, from the first movie, and you don't expect it in the very beginning when she opens the fridge, sees Mama V's head, and then gets an ice pick to her head.
Oh, that was brutal. That
brutal,
was good.
Brutal kill.
I mean, honorable mention. I mean, even the wheelchair guy, when he got that freaking machete to the head, that was shocking too. That was a pretty good one.
And then just flying down the stairs. Now, I do have to say the weird part of this movie is Paul, because so we talked a little bit about it. At the very end, Paul, you don't know what happens. So I started looking it up, like what happened to Paul? Is he alive or dead? So it seems like what you're supposed to infer here is at the end they show Mama V's head, and I think in one of the ways they were going to do the scene, she was supposed to smile, implying.
Yeah. So at the end, it did a close up on her head, but I'm like, did something move? I didn't notice if anything happened to the head. I think
she was supposed to smile, like they had an alternate scene. Well, she didn't smile, so you don't get that. It was implying that Paul was dead, I guess, but it never happens. And in future movies, there's like a lot of debate about this. Like,
really?
If you want to go on Reddit, there's some great stuff.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I started thinking, I'm like, I wonder if he comes back in one of the other ones.
He doesn't. But there's like some things that are said that imply that he might be alive, but you never really find out.
Weird.
Which is super weird because it's like, I think what it is in the next movie, they say that like Jason, I don't even know if that scene's real or if it was in Jason's head. We got to wait till part 3 to really go over it because I don't remember, but it's really interesting. All right, so let's go over some bloopers, some continuity issues, some all around messed up stuff. I don't know, errors.
Sure.
Around 11 minutes during the prologue, the cat that jumps through the window that we talked about, obviously thrown by a crew member. We knew that.
Yeah, definitely.
Jeff and Sandra at their phone booth. So this is back when the car gets towed. Sandra is clearly, basically she's looking at the tow truck the entire time until waiting for her cue and that she has to announce that someone's towing the car.
That's so funny because I was watching that. I'm like, I don't want to be nitpicky, but it looks like she's staring right at it. I noticed that too.
Oh, she was. And then you could tell it's almost like she'd watch what he's doing, and then she'd look at it and then back, you know. Yeah. So Mark has Microvision handheld by Milton Bradley. That's what those games are.
Okay.
Microvision. They're before our time, I guess. He refers to two different games as football and hockey, neither of them which were made by Microvision. You never see the game up close, but they are Connect 4 and Blockbuster. So
that's funny.
At around 58 minutes when Vicky's changing, the window in the mirror has no curtains. The scene changes to outside, then back inside. The window now has orange curtains.
Of course.
Yeah.
What are you expecting there to be no continuity errors in this one?
At 1 hour and 3 minutes, when Paul and Ginny leave the bar, there's a missing parking light in the front left of the car. Dangerous. But don't worry, because when they get back to camp, light's been replaced.
Well, Paul's good at working with cars. We know this.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. At around 46 minutes, when Terry undresses to go skinny dipping. Oh, yeah. Her hair is dry. In the very next shot, she's entering the water, and her hair is moist and slicked back.
Oh yeah, of course.
Hey, that might be one I'm just threw on here. Maybe you guys go check it out. You know what I mean? All right. Well, that's the end of F13 Part 2, and we're going to be going over plenty of these movies, but we're going to take a little break from F13 for our next one. And since Halloween is coming up on us very shortly, we're going to be doing Trick or Treat.
And yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this. In fact, I don't remember the movie, but I remember that I've watched the movie, if that makes sense.
I just watched it for the first time.
Is it good?
I liked it a lot.
Is it a fun movie or what?
I think it's fun. It's interesting. It is like, it's funny because you asked me about it before. It is kind of like a 4 like different stories in one.
What are they called? There's a name for that.
There is, whatever. I don't care. But it's good. I liked it. Definitely like fits into the Halloween vibes. I mean, it's totally about Halloween. So,
all right.
So it's worth watching. So anyways, thank you guys all for listening. Special thanks to all our patrons. Help us keep going.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And if you guys could leave a comment, like, subscribe. I mean, especially, dude, honestly, go on YouTube or not YouTube. Go on Apple or Spotify. If you guys could leave reviews, it's like super appreciated.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys all for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.